I never could have imagined that something that deals in the nervous system could have this much power as far as what it did for my entire body, from my energy levels, fatigue, brain fog, all these things. Yeah, Greg McLean. I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona. I came here because I guess through my whole airway journey, I've kind of checked a lot of boxes. I think this might be a missing component in kind of helping fix my biggest symptoms. The biggest symptom has to be fatigue. I would just say I've had chronic fatigue, or what feels like it, for the last 10 years, with a consistent degradation in the quality of my life. And it's gotten to the point for the last few years, outside of basically going to work at the gym that I own, I basically don't do much but just try to rest, sleep, recover in order to basically just get through my weeks. I guess for myself, I would say it's one of those things where some days are really, really bad, and it's gotten to the point, I'd probably say the last year and a half, that I've considered just stopping working altogether, because regardless of everything that I've tried and done, it doesn't matter. And it's just gotten to this point where it's like, even getting through my day using caffeine and all kinds of different stuff, even though I sleep 8-9 hours a night, it doesn't matter. And it's kind of one of those things where it's just gotten to take its toll, and I'm at a point where I can't do it anymore. Yeah, so I would say most days I wake up probably at like a 2. And regardless of a good day or bad day, probably the peak of how good I feel, I'd probably say, at least for last year, is probably like a 4 at best. And regardless of sleeping 8-9 hours a night, I eat super healthy, haven't drank in 5 years, don't do anything, it doesn't matter. From massage, all kinds of different stuff, it doesn't seem to help. And then as far as for me, what I've done in the last 5 years to kind of help, I've done the Vivos DNA palate expansion. I did a regular SARPI, surgically assisted rapid palate expansion, 2 years ago. I've done tongue tie release, tonsils, adenoids removed, deviated septum fixed, nasal valve fixed, and I've used CPAP, all kinds of different stuff. And although I breathe better, it has done nothing to help my fatigue levels. So I would say it's definitely brain fog. It rivals the fatigue. It's kind of one of those things where I feel like they've gone hand in hand. It's kind of one of those things where I feel like the fatigue is just a little bit worse. But from a brain fog perspective, I started experiencing that in basically March 2007. I remember I got an MRI because I just felt off. And then I would say right around 2009, 2010, it was with me every single day. And then consistently over the years, it's something where I always had photographic memory. I love to write. I want to be an author, just coaching, teaching, all these things. And you just realize, like, I've lost access to my brain. As an electrical engineer when I went to school, even though I own a gym, and it's something where for me, it's like just having the recall, the memory, all those different things has just dramatically diminished in my life. And I would say, on any given day, it's bad. Some days I get in my car and I feel like I can't even keep my car in between the lines. There's other days where it's something where I literally just don't feel safe driving through a parking lot, almost like I feel like I'm driving the wrong way. And I mean, it's scary because I feel like I'm 90 regardless of how healthy I may look. Yeah, I would probably say like my baseline is maybe like a 5 to a 7. And I guess some days if I don't get that much sleep, or it's just like a long week, I mean, it can be really bad to where it's like 7, 8, 9, really depends. But it's always there from a baseline of like a 6 or 7, debilitating, and then it's just gradually gotten worse over the years to where it's always with me every day, all the time. It's just a matter of how bad it is. I think like for my job, what I do with from an athlete perspective, like especially for us, like December with all of our Major League Baseball guys, our pro golfers, and then with the holidays and just like a busy type season, I think it starts to take its toll at the end of like a month or two of like, just for me, I don't normally push myself. I mean, I've slowed my schedule down a lot in the last few years due to my fatigue and my brain fog. But then there's the times a year where it's like, all right, I've got a lot to do, and I do more than I would normally do any other time of the year. And it kind of makes me step outside, and that's where I definitely am like pushing, like on some days, like a 8 or a 9, maybe a few times a month. I'd probably say probably a few days a week. Maybe by the end of the week it gets worse. Like a prime example, I got in here last night, and because it was really hot with the time change, I probably got like 4.5, 5 hours of sleep. I know that's not great. And then, you know, for me flying home again tonight and get home 10 or 11 and back at work at 7 in the morning, like something like that can just kind of have a compounding effect to where, you know, by Friday this week, I'm like living at 8 or 9. And like for me, it's just a matter of trying to survive and get through my day. And it's like, I'm not putting my best foot forward at what I do at my job, but it's the best I've got. I guess for me, like I've always craved loud, high energetic situations. And over the years, I feel like visually, from a sensation standpoint, I can't take it all in. So for me, I tend to shy away from situations where it's loud, a lot of people, and then it starts to become this overwhelming, I'm in the room, and it almost creates like an anxious effect because I'm unable to take in all the processing, like all the stuff going on, because my brain can't take in all that's coming at me. Yeah, there's probably a level that's always there, maybe like a 5 or a 6 kind of daily. I just feel like I can't do with ease what I should be able to do. Like I'm just aware that I can't take in sensory. And then there's things like I walk into a busy Costco, I go into a mall, I walk into my gym early in the morning and there's a ton of guys throwing balls with loud music, and it's just something where it's like my brain can't handle everything that's coming at me, and maybe that's a 7, maybe an 8, something like that situationally. But I've tended to basically shy away from those types of things like over the last few years because I'm aware that I can't handle them, and I guess I do my due diligence to try to keep that away just to feel safe. Yeah, I would probably say for myself, back in 2007, I had the MRI. That's when it all started. Basically, I had my jaw broken in 2004, playing hockey, jaw wired shut. 2007, I started to notice. I went to the doctor, hey, you're healthy, you're fine. And then literally a year later, I developed celiac disease. And so for many years, I chased doctors, functional med, because I thought a lot of the stuff I was starting to experience was related to autoimmune. And then this for me is I've chased every doctor testing in the medical world, and then I chased some of the best doctors in the functional med world, tried every kind of treatment modality, supplement, regimen. I mean, I'd probably say I've seen 50 to 70 doctors in the last 15 years. I tried, you name it, spent a few $100,000 on doctors' treatments that have all just kind of got me to this point. Yeah, everything's going good. I would say this, like, I just feel like a lot of changes going on, subtle, from my vision to posture. I think the biggest thing so far is that I've noticed that every single night I dream, I wake up in the morning and I can actually remember what I dreamed about. For me to consistently do that, definitely sensing that is a change for me. Even last night, I woke up middle of the night, kind of went back to sleep, and it's like, remember having a second dream. So the fact that that's happening and everything I understand about sleep, it's a good change for sure. I feel like through my SARPy journey and kind of everything over the last 2 years, it would go in and out, I think sometimes based on like where things were with my occlusion and stuff. But for the most part, for the last 4 or 5 months, like even like a Oura ring, looking at that, like I haven't had a crown in the last month and a half. And just sensing that now, like it's just something definitely to be excited about, because I know the importance of that, especially for me with brain fog and fatigue. Like that's huge as far as a tie-in. From a science perspective. And then from a body perspective, I can definitely sense of balance, sense of my body in space. Just even in the gym at my hotel every single day with a mirror, it's like almost like feeling different things and subtleties in my body because everything's shifting. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Nope, nothing's been worse. It's kind of like, I feel like it's obviously very early to tell, but yeah, nothing's negatively impacted. And I think for me along this journey, it's just been not looking for everything to change overnight and obsessing about it, because I think a lot of people just get pulled in, and I just kind of learn to be patient with the whole thing. Yeah, I feel like I've kind of slept weird the last few days, but like last night, like today waking up, I mean, I was probably up 6:15, already went to the gym, ate breakfast. I normally would say I wake up at like a 2. I would say today like maybe like 4. Definitely feel more energy, more crisp. I think sometimes for me it's like really hard to distinguish, especially for me, just I don't wake up and my brain's not really on, so it takes a while. But like today, definitely feeling that. And part of that too, I think, is just the excitement of kind of where this could possibly go for me. Yeah, I would say like the fog today, like I mean just this morning, I would say I feel definitely more crisp. Just little things. I think I realize what I've lost the ability to, but like even to be able to handle navigating here from breakfast and have MapQuest on and be listening to music and just not have my nervous system feel overwhelmed. I mean, these are the little nuances, I think, you know, especially for people that have lived into this world, that you start to see that difference. My body can handle more and not feel taxed or overwhelmed. And like, all these little things I think kind of just get you excited as well. Yeah, definitely more bandwidth for sure. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'd have to say last week I think was roughly 4 months since I started the phase 1, and it's been amazing. I never could have imagined that just something that deals in the nervous system could have this much power as far as what it did for my entire body. From my energy levels, fatigue, brain fog, all these things, I'd probably say up probably 60-70% since starting the entire treatment. I think the most important thing for myself has been just feeling my body start to unwind and just allow my body to find a good neutral posture again for just every one of my senses. Yeah, I would say from a fatigue standpoint, probably been a 60% improvement since the beginning. And I think it was like steady but surely would go up. You know, there'd be some days. And I think for me in the beginning, what was also interesting was the fact that I felt a lot better a few weeks in, that instead of going to bed at 7 or 8 o'clock, I was staying up later. And although I wasn't getting as much sleep as I know was good for me, it just felt good to have a life for the first time in a very long time. So that was interesting. And then going from the brain fog perspective, you know, for me, as I've kind of lived into this, there's days where I sleep really well and other days where it's a little bit off. But on those days, like just being able to increase my workload, both in the gym from a creative standpoint, as well as like writing, and then just having something left at the end of the day to just go do anything besides just go home and lay around. And then I think from the nervous system perspective, one of the coolest things has been like I stayed away from sports, from anything dynamic, because I felt from my nervous system it was too much. But along the way, as my balance and just all my sensory improved, I would say probably 6 weeks ago, I started playing pickleball every week with some guys at high level. And just for me to be able to track the ball and not feel like it was just visual sensory overload for me was awesome. And I think that has just kind of helped encourage me to do more active things, which is only training me to get those pathways back in my life. I'd probably say 60-70%. I think the biggest thing has been probably about 100% increase just from a fitness perspective in my life. I think 4 months ago, I just had zero energy. So for me, I just finished my 11th week I was doing cardio 3 to 5 days a week. Actually started running for the first time in like 5 years a few weeks ago. And then just from a fitness strength perspective, just in the gym, being able to hit it hard every day. I think I'm down probably 15, 16 pounds. For me, just getting my strength and my mojo back slowly and steadily has been awesome. I guess I've read so much about the potential of this science, and after doing my research, realizing you're one of the best docs in the world, I was excited about what might possibly happen, having watched hundreds of testimonials from a few really good docs all over the world. And I just think for myself, it's like when it comes to nervous system, especially someone like me, I suffered for like 15 years, to slowly get it back, you can't imagine what it's gonna come back like, from your balance to I can look this way but see out of the corner of my eye, and I used to have to turn my head. It's like all these little nuances, even driving a car, you just feel secure in everything you're doing versus I used to second guess myself because I didn't trust my nervous system. I always just felt tired, and just like these are the little nuances I feel like you get back from healing the nervous system, and it's been great. I would tell anyone that even thinks this might be a possibility, give it a shot for 90 days. What the hell do you got to lose? I would say, yeah, for me, like I just wanted to feel better. I wanted to feel like hope again that I might get my life back, and you definitely gave that to me. And I'm excited about where this will go. It's been a slow, steady, just get better and better. And for me, I've also learned in my healing journey to not put expectations on stuff, because I think that's often where we get let down.